My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. Today, zooming in from beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, but originally from even deeper south in South Africa, we have a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur, Mark Werner. And Mark focuses on assisted living facilities. And he's kind of really got into this big time. He's actually involved in 12 different facilities, I believe, in 4 different communities, 4 different cities, and close to 300 residents and 300 staff, which kind of sounds like a bit of a nightmare to me, Mark. But anyhow, Mark Werner, welcome to the show. Great to have you
Thank
here.
you, David. I appreciate you having me on.
And I'm talking about the nightmare to me sounds like dealing with 300 staff. That must be a little bit challenging from time to time.
Well, yeah, 300 staff is definitely challenging, but it's all about the team. So having the right people in place, doing the right things that's key to all of it.
So maybe let's zoom out for a second.
hmm
Maybe give us your definition of what is an assisted living facility. What does that actually look like? And
Yeah,
maybe what's the appeal to this as a business and a real estate model?
for sure. So assisted living facility is basically where you go when you need some support in living essentially out the rest of your life.
Mhm.
There's different levels of assisted living. There's what you call RCAC, which is more independent living with some
What does
nursing
RCA
support.
stand for? Do you
I knew
remember?
you were going to ask that.
Sorry for
I
putting you
can't.
on the spot, Matt.
I can't remember right now, but the other one is CBRF, which is a community-based residential facility.
Okay.
And that is where a little bit more advanced care is needed. So there's a higher concentration of nursing and care staff and support for the residents.
Okay,
Uh,
so you've got 12 of these facilities. Maybe kind of paint us a picture of what does a typical one of these 12 kind of look
sure,
like? How big is it? How many residents? That sort of thing.
sure. So in a community, you typically have several licensed facilities. So our biggest one has got 5 licensed facilities. Um, if you think about it as a large house, it's got a industrial kitchen. There's living areas, so like various different recreational rooms, dining rooms, relaxation areas, craft areas, and then there's bedrooms where the residents live, and there's various other things. So essentially, it's a the way we like to see it is this is our residents' home,
Yeah.
and our staff are there to take care of them, whatever needs they have.
Okay. So are these purpose-built
Yes.
facilities, or have you taken a nice large house and converted this into an assisted living facility?
No, there are many that do the small form facility. Our facilities typically have between 20 and 30 rooms in each
Wow.
building,
Yeah.
and they're purpose built. There's a lot of code that goes around into it. We have to have them all certified and approved by the various agencies. All of ours are up in Wisconsin, so we deal with the DHS.
Okay, very good. So I'm getting a better picture of this. So these are purpose built.
Mhm.
Now, do you own the real estate and the business, or did somebody else build these and you guys kind of lease them out from that?
So our model is that we like to own both.
Yeah.
So we own the real estate in a company, and that essentially leases to the operating company.
Mhm.
But yeah, we just see it as one. But the nice thing about that is that we started off our lives in multifamily. Um, and in multifamily, you essentially just got boxes that you're trying to put people in. In assisted living, you have people's lives that you are trying to you know, make as comfortable as possible for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it's a huge model shift.
Well, completely. I mean, real estate is part of it, but
hmm
this is a whole healthcare model business on top
Absolutely.
of real estate, which hence the 295 employees and all of that side of things. So I think sometimes people get infatuated with the idea of the kind of revenue and cash flow and profits that can be created from these kind of businesses, but they have no clue of what's really involved in running one of these kind of facilities. So maybe maybe share with us what you've learned. So how long have you been doing this since you were last kind of in the multifamily space, Mark?
Yeah, we bought our first community about 2.5 years ago.
Oh, wow. So this is relatively new.
Fairly new, yes. Yes.
Okay. So let's back up 2.5 years.
Yeah.
What caused you to take the jump, the massive leap from multifamily into assisted living?
So the multifamily space was just so everybody wanted to buy multifamily apartments, and it was just driving the prices up. Everything was broker deals. You couldn't find anything off market, and the numbers made no sense.
Yeah.
And I'm an LP in a bunch of syndications that none of them are paying distributions anymore because none of them made any sense. Well, they did at the time, but they don't
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
We paid distributions on all of our assets. Um, I think one of the biggest draws, I forget how we got into our first deal. It came to us somehow, and we thought, well, that's an interesting concept, and we kind of approached it with a multifamily mindset, and that was our biggest learning and our biggest mistake, because if you approach assisted living with a multifamily mindset, your occupancy is going to suffer, your reputation is going to suffer in the market. Because if you think about who's putting people in assisted living facilities, it's social workers, it's um, family members, it's
Adult children. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we shifted from a administrative based model to a nursing based model. So we don't have administrators running our facilities anymore. We have nurses running our facilities.
Mm.
And that does push your cost structure up, but it also makes a significant difference to everybody's lives.
I
And
would
it's
imagine. Yeah,
so
because
yeah,
if you're trying to cookie cutter how you managed your multifamily properties and
yeah.
manage the manager, so to speak, and plunk
Hmm.
in somebody there that's an administrator but has no clue about
Oh yeah.
healthcare. Yeah, 2020 hindsight, I can see that being a bit
Yeah.
of a challenge. So did you cash out of your multifamily properties and go all in on assisted living, or do you still have some multifamilies?
We've gone full cycle on two. One, yeah, we haven't lost any investor capital, but one didn't, yeah, deliver great returns. The other one was about a 1.5 multiple, which was good.
Hmm.
Um, and the third one we still have that one pays distributions. It's down in Nashville, and
Yeah.
it operates fine. But it's just we once we understood this asset class, we just absolutely fell in love with it. So like I mean it's not just the residents, it's the staff, it's the team. It's a people business. Like you can just go and spend a day up at the community, and you can leave there like you can just feel amazing because you know that everything you're doing is making a difference to a lot of people's lives.
So knowing what you know now, Mark, if you were going back 2.5 years and getting into this project from scratch again,
Mhm.
what would you do differently? Like or how do you look differently at new opportunities now that you didn't do before?
Yeah. One thing I would definitely do differently is set the payroll number higher. So our payroll is about 65% of our total operating expenses.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, and there's not much you can do about it because the employees, they kind of have you because there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of need for caregivers, and they can jump ship pretty easy. Um, so what would I have done differently? Probably raised higher, more reserves.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you can always give reserves back, but it's you don't ever want to raise more reserves like
Hmm.
once you're going.
Cash calls.
Um,
Yeah.
exactly. I would also probably eliminate certain characters that we've encountered along the way sooner rather than you know trusting and it's good to give people opportunity, let them have space to grow, but sometimes you just need to change people, and yeah, that's the
So fire
best interest
faster.
of everybody. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Um,
bring more cash to the table than you think
mm-hmm,
you need.
yep,
Make sure that your salary structure for your employees is top level so you can
yep,
retain them better,
yep.
and fire people that aren't working out a lot faster.
Correct, correct. Yeah, I mean those are probably our three biggest ones. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the only other thing is, I mean, I can't say that we would do something different. We've rolled out a lot of systems and like technology, and we don't do anything manually that technology can do for us, and that's been
What would be an
a
example of
game
that?
changer.
Something that's changed the game for you that way. What would be an example?
Um, uh, Investor reporting. So instead of tracking stuff in spreadsheets and then producing Word documents, I have a consolidating FP&A app that ties to all of our QuickBooks, and it's like you you just build your reporting templates, and now within 2 days of getting the financials, my investor reporting is ready. It like it used to take me days, and I'm a procrastinator. I don't do my taxes until like the day before. So this is a game changer for me. Just data. I mean, I'm a data person, so like just data flowing where it needs to be, and like with one single entry, like that huge game changer, because you got to know your numbers, and if your numbers are there and you're not busy working to build your numbers, like the numbers are just there when you need them, you can focus your time on analyzing and taking action rather than crunching data.
So you come from the multifamily space where it was kind of a little bit more cut and dry and not quite as people focused, definitely not employee focused like your
Mm-hmm,
new business model is. What is it besides the warm fuzzies of providing a valuable service that's much in
mm-hmm.
demand? From a business standpoint, what do you like better about this versus multifamily? Or a profitability standpoint, or a investor
Yeah,
standpoint, or just an asset standpoint?
I feel like there's a yeah, I mean, Wisconsin's got a pretty good public pay system. So we have a balance between private and public pay. So
In
it's
each
Medicare
facility, or
funded
different facilities have different focuses?
in each of them. I mean, they'll have different ratios, public to private. But the government does a really good job of taking care of the public pay people, and the rates are pretty good. Um, so yeah, there is that. I mean, you don't have the issue of delinquency. I mean, you never have to go to court to
Chase
get
somebody for the
somebody
red check,
right. Exactly.
evict
Um,
people.
yeah, exactly. Our biggest challenge is people unfortunately pass away, and
Yeah.
so that it's like I call them move ons. Like I don't like to use the dad word, but so
Mhm.
we track our metrics and like how many move ons were there, and then just making sure the pipeline is full to replace those move ons. I mean, it's a great asset class. It's a one, it's a need that there is in the world, that we can help out with. Um, we can do it in a way that gives dignity to people who, like, at the end of their lives, like they lose control of that various like functions, and
Yeah.
you can provide something that is just, I don't know. I always just think, like, would I want my mom to live in one of our facilities? And the answer is always going to be yes, because like
Mhm.
that's the bar we set ourselves.
Yeah, that's a very good bar to have. Very, very interesting, Mark. So if somebody's kind of thinking, hey, this would be something interesting to look into, how are these facilities typically priced? Is it a combination of the value of the real estate and the value of the business? Each one's kind of separate, and you figure it out that way, or big broad strokes. How are these things valued?
Um, Probably mostly on the real estate.
Really?
Yeah, because the business, the business is the business. but you can have an operator send the business south fairly quickly. So I think the banks will mostly value based on the real estate, but then the income that the real estate is generating factors into that, and you've got goodwill. So I mean, it's valued as a going concern, but I think the weighting is more towards the real estate.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so you guys got into fairly large facilities, relatively speaking, right off the
Mhm.
get-go. Um, what was there a strategy behind that, or is that just kind of how the cookie crumbled?
There's economies of scale, and we learned that on our first purchase. Like our first community was 4 houses, 50 beds, and
Were these all really close together, or they're kind of spread out throughout
three
the
were
country?
close together, and one was about 5 miles away.
Okay.
And what we learned very quickly is that like it's hard to scale if you don't have like a large enough number. So our second one was 33, but it was all in one building. And then our third one was 125, but that was across 5 buildings. But they were also built differently. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. I think it's the area. Um, we like Wisconsin because it's a very family orientated farming type
Yeah.
environment where people don't want to. People will typically go into a retirement facility in the the town or the area that they've lived their whole lives.
And their families are
Um,
still there quite often, right? Yeah.
exactly. So we avoid the big cities. The hedge funds have kind of coined those large sort of markets. We just like those secondary markets where they're very family orientated. You interact a lot with the families, and they just you know it's just a community really.
Nice. Well, we're just kind of early days in 2025 right now as we're
Mhm.
filming this, Mark. What are your plans for the assisted living facility business this coming year?
Right. So we started a managing agency, Tradition Senior Care. So we have we self-manage through our agency. Um, so our goals for this year are to expand into third-party management.
Okay.
I mean, our systems and processes are very scalable. We've standardized everything, and that was a big learning right off the bat. Is just standardize, like everybody does it the same way, and it makes your life easy.
Mhm.
So a third-party manager, and then we've got a couple of acquisitions in the hopper that we're very excited about. So if we can end up the year with about 18 assets under management, licensed communities, that would be a fantastic year.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful goal. So, hey, Mark, if people would like to connect with you after hearing our conversation, where should they go?
I'm on LinkedIn. They can reach out to me. It's linkedin.com/Mark Werner, or traditionseniorcare.com. That's our management company website.
Well, awesome, Mark. Thank you very much for being on the show and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.